Hey guys, Sethly here, back with another Apex Legends video. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In today's video, we're going to be covering the Apex Legends Preseason Invitational that did just end. It was located in Krakow, and it was $500,000 was the prize pool. It was a lot of really great teams and a lot of really great players and a lot of really great clips, but sadly, there was a lot of stuff that came along with it that had a negative connotation with it because the community did have a few things to say about what actually happened with the event and the stream and what was going on, because it was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna be telling you guys everything you need to know. Let's just go ahead and start off with the obvious. It is confirmed. I mean, if you guys didn't watch live, TSM, they won, but let's get into the more interesting stuff because everybody knows who already won. I also do want to mention, I'll show on screen right now the prize pool and how it was spread out. As you guys can see, TSM did get $105,000, Navi got 75, Wyvern got 60, and Gamers Origin got 48, and then it goes down and you can actually go to the website. I'll make sure to link it down below to see every single team and how much money they won. Onto the much more important stuff that has nothing to do with how much money actually was going on and how much money was won by the players. It's more about how the stream and how the event actually went, because it really wasn't very good. I know it was really the first official kind of actual tournament with a big prize pool for Apex, and it just didn't really go that great, but let's go ahead and get right into it. So starting off, as you guys can see, NRG Ace tweeted out explaining that his audio was delayed half a second and he was down before he even knew they were shooting. And then Complexity Gabe replied saying, "So was ours, it was rough at all times because of it." And then Asu said, "Hopefully they find a fix, it's actually so annoying to play with." And then PK Hotsick replied, "Ours was like that for a while, we just complained until they fixed it. They had to change audio input to voice meters, so there was a big problem that a lot of players didn't have correct audio and it was extremely delayed, obviously making them play a lot worse. It's really important to have audio, and it actually wasn't able to be fixed. Only a couple of people actually had this audio fixed in a lot of their games. A lot of people still played with really bad audio, so that is really not good, especially for an esports tournament for $500,000. And then another thing is that at Senox, if you guys don't know who Senox is, he competed in the tournament and he plays for Sentinels. So what happened to Senox is that he actually just crashed. His entire game crashed in the knockout stage. He said he was really glad it wasn't in the finals, but still it is not really acceptable for people to be crashing all the time within your game, especially when it is at a tournament for $500,000 put on by you guys for a lot of money, and a lot of people are watching. But obviously we got to give them some slack because it is really their first time getting used to how this is going to actually work in the format, so I definitely do give them a little bit of slack for that. But then there was a lot more stuff that I kind of can't look over, and I just really hope that the next tournament or next event is a lot better than this, because there was just way too many technical problems and not enough regulation to the players and what was actually going on. So there's actually a really good list of all of the problems somebody noticed during the Invitational, and I'll go ahead and link it down below. It is a great list. There's a lot of stuff and it pretty much covers everything, but there are some other things I do want to cover, starting off the list. So first off, the main problem is that every stream literally uses game capture and they stream the game footage instead of streaming it directly from a spectator mode, because it isn't a real spectator mode. They don't even have a spectator mode for tournaments and stuff like that, which is really unheard of. Honestly, I don't know how you put on a tournament without a correct spectator mode to actually show the tournament to the hundreds of thousands and thousands of people that are watching live, which is just really bad planning in my opinion, or maybe they couldn't do it, I'm not too sure. Another problem was that you can hear player comms at some point, which really sucks, especially because it goes on at the same time as the casters are talking, which can be really hard to understand and just plain confusing. And then the next thing is, like, there was a lot of times where the camera would just go to dead or knocked players who are spectating, and it's not even the person who is actually in the game, which is really just confusing. I'm not sure why that would happen, but a lot of the time they would also put up really bad layouts on the stream when they would show like all three players POVs from a squad, and it would just look really bad. It was hard to see anything, especially for a pretty big tournament that is streamed to a lot of people that can't really even see the gameplay because you are putting up way too many screens and way too much stuff at the same time. Another thing is that most of the stream wasn't 60 FPS at all. The audio was pretty laggy and non-consistent at points. On to the next thing, which really isn't too huge, but the player cams that were on the screens or monitors of each player were not correct at all. They were terribly framed, so it was honestly really hard to see each player. You could see half of them at some points, you could see some foreheads, and you couldn't see anything at all for others, which is kind of bad. I don't really know how that happens. That's a really simple thing to do, but I guess it did happen. But But one of the main things that the community was complaining about is the casters, because the casters, honestly, for a lot of the time, they had no idea what they were saying. But not to say that they are bad casters at doing their job, it's just that they weren't ready for Apex Legends to know what is actually going on the entire time, especially at a high level like this, to be able to commentate it correctly for the viewers. And a lot of people in the community got pretty mad, myself included, as well as people like Liquid Mendo even spoke out against this. I'll show a little clip of that, because honestly, he's 100% correct. They should just have casters that are dedicated for Apex. It's not that hard.
It's so easy to avoid mentioning other titles when you're exclusively casting an event for Apex Legends. It's so easy.
Some more problems, I'll go ahead and show them on screen. There are really a lot of them. Some of them include a lot of people actually got disconnected, not just Senox, and there was a second group, and apparently that second group was sitting for over an hour and a half, as well as people say the muzzle flash on every weapon makes it almost unwatchable with how bad the overall quality of the stream is, obviously since it's compressed so hard with all the bitrate and the fact that they were streaming it with game capture and not like the real actual footage from a spectator mode. But I'll show the rest of the list on screen, and as you guys can see, if you watch the Invitational, you will probably agree with what is on the screen. Another thing I do want to show off is there was actually a time in the game where there was code net and literally everyone in the server got kicked off. Honestly, it's kind of funny. I'll go ahead and play that for you guys right now. I'm still laughing at it right now. When I saw it live, I was absolutely dying, but I'll go ahead and play that for you guys right now.
We've got a lot of competition here, of course. We have the teams that kind of started to separate early on, just to pick out a few that we have talked about this weekend.
As you guys can see, the players really weren't that confused because they've probably experienced it quite a bit. They were honestly laughing at it, and so was I. But let's get on to some of the more serious stuff. So TSM Reps on Twitter tweeted out something pretty insane, and he was actually one of the winners of the Invitational, so I'm sure his opinion is very valid. Basically, he just tweeted out, double check all of your settings if you are playing today at Poland in the Invitational. Some teams that are done playing have been changing tons of settings on Windows, monitors, etc. to screw over other teams, and I assume what he means is obviously they probably just went into the NVIDIA GeForce experience and changed the resolution, the FPS, and just made it all wrong, even possibly turned on mouse acceleration, which is what TSM Rep said. He said, I highly doubt these pro players play on 60 Hz monitors with mouse acceleration on and Windows Sense Max with all the other monitor settings changed to be all blurry. And obviously he's referring to the fact that when somebody, obviously it could have been him or one of his friends or somebody he knew, when they got on their computer, all of that stuff was changed to the worst quality possible, clearly trying to get an advantage over any player possible, even if it is as small as making one player on a squad not have as high quality gameplay. Not only did TSM Reps have this problem, but at TSM Imperial Hall tweeted out saying, gotta love my whole team crashing. So obviously a lot of people were crashing during the tournament, which is just insane to me. I can't believe that's actually happening, not to mention that over and over it was continuously happening. But I'm definitely mad at those players that were messing around with those settings, because that's basically cheating. They're sabotaging other players, and it's 100% not sportsmanlike and shouldn't be allowed. I really do think that they should have done an investigation to see what players actually used those computers before the player actually got on and the settings were changed, so they could go back and disqualify those players for griefing or sabotaging the other players, because genuinely they definitely shouldn't be able to do that. I don't know why these computers at the LAN or the event weren't locked so they couldn't change all of that stuff. It definitely shouldn't have been an admin account on the computer, but I guess they really weren't ready for this stuff, so hopefully next time it will be fixed. One of the last things I do want to mention is the fact that if you typed out Muzzle Flash in the Preseason Invitational Twitch chat, you would instantly get flagged and it wouldn't be sent out. So if you typed in Muzzle Flash, you literally would not be able to send it out in the chat, which is honestly pretty funny. I don't know why they would do this. Clearly, if they're doing that, they are aware of Muzzle Flash and know it is a problem, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do address this in the future. But obviously, I also wouldn't be surprised if they literally just didn't say anything about it at all. But that's pretty much all of the news we do have for the Preseason Invitational. Definitely make sure to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button. It really does help me out a ton. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell for daily Apex videos. But I'm gonna end the video here. It's been your boy Sethly, and I'm out.
何